Hello, my name is Jane Wake and welcome to The Powerful Pregnancy. I'm creator of this program. I'm a fitness expert and I've been working in the pre and postnatal field for over 15 years. Now today's workout, it's a 40-minute cardio and strength workout, and we have a little emphasis on working towards swimming because swimming is such a great activity to do in pregnancy, but it's a general workout as well, so you're going to enjoy it. You do need a mat, you do need these bands, but if you haven't got them then that's absolutely fine, you can work out without, and you might need some props like some cushions or some towels to help you as well. Make sure you're in comfy clothing, you don't need any shoes, but you do need some water, so make sure that's to hand, and then we're ready to go. So we're going to start off with our rocking the baby. So we're just going to start moving side to side. So this is a great warm-up move to do. You'll have seen this before in our other workouts, and it's also a really good move to do as like a default. So if anything's getting too much, you can come back to rocking the baby, stop what you're doing at any point, come back to this movement because it's very freeing up of the body. What it also does is makes you think about your posture. So you want to really lift through your posture and start to connect to those all-important core muscles. So think of that, stopping a wee, lifting up through your pelvic floor, thinking of lovely tall spine, think about your head positioning, bringing that chin in, looking straight ahead as you're doing this. So we'll do that a couple more times through, then we're going to bring the feet in. Let's start to focus on the feet, and we're going to do that first off just by doing some little foot pedals. And you can put your hands underneath your bump. And as you're doing these foot pedals, I want you to lift up through and try and find your pelvic floor whilst you're on the move. Now, this is hard to do, to find your pelvic floor whilst you're on the move. Can you feel your pelvic floor? Yeah? Fee's feeling it. Now, we have filmed a workout. We did that last week with Aditi, where she really struggles to find her pelvic floor. So we did we did two workouts where we really focused on a workout which was specifically for you if you find it hard to find your pelvic floor. So do look out for that if you're finding it really tricky right now, and do Aditi's workout, which we did last week. So that will be on the program. So for now, though, let's slow our foot pedals down. So we're just going to hold the left foot onto the floor, and I want you to draw up through the core of your left foot. So press through the inside of the ball of the foot, draw up through the core, bring that arch of your foot up, then scoop up from the back of the pelvic floor into the front, and then take your right foot off the floor and do some little circles with your ankles. So again, these are just our warm-up moves that we do with every workout, which are really important to establish and do. We're going to take the right foot back behind now and extend the left arm up. Now you can keep your right foot on the floor, but I want you to bring your right hip forward a little bit. So if I do it wrong for a second, you don't want to be leaning into your left side. You need to bring your body square to the front, so your hip bones at the front are shining forwards. Yeah, that's really important. Work the shoulder blades down. Think of that length at the back of the neck, so you're bringing your chin in, and then we're going to change sides. So just peel the left foot off the floor, draw up through the arch of your right foot, scoop up from the back of the pelvic floor into your belly, and then just rotate your left foot around. That's good. And then take the leg back behind. Now we're doing these movements to really wake the core up. So we've slowed ourselves down. I want you to lift up through from the back of the pelvic floor and into the belly, lifting through your center, working the shoulder blades down. We'll do that again one more time, but this time we're going to go into a calf stretch as we do it. So peel the right foot off the floor, work up through the arch of your left foot, and then scoop up from the back of the pelvic floor and into your belly. You should feel your belly coming in. If you put your hands onto your tummy, you should feel your belly coming in, giving your baby a little hug. Sit, and then take the leg behind, but this time we're going to step back into a calf stretch position. Now check your ankle isn't turning in. You want to have those nice tram lines, feet fixed in tram lines, and then lift and lower through that right foot. And Fee, this is interesting because we were talking about the fact that Fee gets some pain and twinges in her knee, which we're going to address in a minute. Do you find your right heel turns in a little bit? Yeah. So Fee's right heel definitely turns in. So we know that's to do with tightness in her hip. So a lot of the problems that she's finding going on in her right leg and the twinges going on in her knee are to do with tightness going on in her hip, the whole of her hip. So we're going to address that in a second. For now though, I want you to hold your heel down, lift up from the back of the pelvic floor and into your belly, and we'll do some of our bow and arrow movements. So work the shoulders down, take a nice big deep breath for me, inhale. Exhale, and we're going to slide the right arm back. And then inhale, bring the arm in, and then exhale, slide the left arm back. And then do that again, one more time each side. And then last one, inhale, exhale, slide the left arm back. It's good. Okay, and release it. Now we're going to change legs, peel the left foot off the floor, hold and balance, lift up through your center, work through those core muscles from the foot all the way up through the pelvic floor, and think about the core of the upper body, which is to bring the head in. You're trying to relax your tongue on the roof of your mouth, and you're working the shoulder blades down the back of the rib cage, activating muscles in your back by pulling the shoulder blades down. Okay, take the foot back behind, extend the right arm up, squeeze into your left buttock. Make sure that your hips are nice and square, so bring that left hip forwards, hold that position, squeeze your bottom, and then we'll go into our calf stretch position. So when you're in that calf stretch position, make sure your feet are fixed in tram lines, and it's still a bit of tightness even on the left side. Yeah. So Fee was saying it's not as much on the left, but still there's some tightness there. So you still need to release the hips a little bit, but just maybe not as much as on the right side. So lift and lower through that left foot, and then we're going to hold the foot down, squeeze into your left buttock, work the shoulder blades down the back of the rib cage. Take a nice big deep breath for me, inhale. As you exhale, lift through your core and slide the left hand back. Now as you're doing this, you want to make sure that your hips are square to the front, lifting in through your center, and we'll do that again. So keep the hips facing forward, lift up through your pelvic floor and into your belly, and then release it. Well done. Let's go back into rocking the baby. And then we're going to do our foot balances one more time, but we're going to go into a practice lunge. And we're going to do this to actually establish good lunging technique, but also to address this issue with Fee's knee that she's got at the moment. So what we're going to do is bring the feet back in, do exactly the same thing, peel the right foot off the floor and hold and balance, rotate the ankle around, but we're just going to step straight back into a lunge position. So come onto the ball of your back leg, bring your weight back, push your right knee underneath you. Now, is it twinging now, Fee, a little bit? You're okay? A little bit. So you're already starting, Fee's already starting to feel there's something going on in her right knee. So what I want her to do is not go down, because that's going to exacerbate it. I want her to go up. So this is your first port of call if you are experiencing any twinges in your knee. Go up and really squeeze your right buttock. Really think about your core muscles. You should be able to pull up through your core muscles in this position. Keep the chin in, work the shoulder blades down, and breathe. Inhale, exhale, lift up through your pelvic floor and into your belly. Now imagine sliding your back down a wall, lower just a tiny way without going into that knee pain. Just a small way. You okay? Yeah, so we can do a little bit of lunging without tightening too much into that knee, and then lift back up and squeeze. And then do that again, just lower down. It's all about getting your technique right. So lessen your movement is the first port of call, and then you can do your movement successfully without causing any or creating any pain. So that's the first thing. And we're going to do that one more time. Take a breath, inhale, exhale, lower down. Keep the weight back into the ball of the back leg. Now you lift up through the front heel and you squeeze up into your buttock as you come back up. Let's change legs. Just release the feet a little bit and then peel the left foot off the floor and hold and balance. Rotate your ankle around. And then we're going to step back with the left foot. Make sure the heel isn't turning in, and then we're going to go up rather than down. Okay, so you should be nice and pain-free in that position. But let's see, Fee, if you can go lower on this side. Let's see what happens as you go down. So we're going to lower down, keeping the weight back into the ball of the left foot, and then lift up and squeeze. How does that feel? Does it feel different? Yeah, so we know that on the left side she's not having any problems at all. What I want you to check though and watch out for is what happens to your front knee. So as you lower down, where does your front knee go? Okay, does it drop in at all? Is it okay? You think it's okay? Yeah? So this is important. And Fee's knee's okay, but check your front knee. If it does that, yeah, you know that's not good for your knee. You need to bring bring the knee out. So the inside of your knee should always be in line, pretty much with the inside line of your big toe. Yeah, so that's the line that you want your knee in, not going knock-kneed. So keep the weight back, squeeze up into the buttocks, just drop a little way back, and then lift straight back up and squeeze into your buttock. Let's do that one more time. Find your pelvic floor, lower down, and then lift back up and squeeze. Okay, now shake the legs out. So Fee's experiencing tightness going into the side lateral part of her leg. Now often this is caused by tightness in what we call this is the IT band that goes down here. But there is a muscle up here that actually is responsible for that tightness. It's called the TFL, and it's a muscle that sits right into your hip. Now, what I want everybody to do now is just massage into the side of your hip. So just rub your fingers into the side of your hip. Now really dig in, and you'll feel that there is a point of tightness. And often it represents itself as it's like a bunched up bit of wool that's gone really tight. Yeah, and it's a hard bit underneath your finger, and you can feel it. Now it's all muscle and tendon here, and mainly muscle, and you're not going to do yourself any harm whatsoever by just massaging into here. It will feel a bit painful if it's tight, okay? Now, literally on the side of your hip, that muscle is there, and it will insert into that tendon that runs down your leg. So once you've found it, we're then going to try and stretch it, because we're going to start with a mild stretch by just crossing the leg behind, give it a bit of a massage, try and release some of that tension to soften that area up, and then coming onto the outside edge of the foot, you're going to pull your fingers up over that muscle and push your hip out to the side. And you should feel a stretch going down the side of your leg. Now lift up through your core as you do this. So stop a fart, stop a wee, lift into your core. So you're just pushing your hip. It's like you're hitching your right hip up to the side, but pulling that muscle up at the same time. Now if you're struggling with that a little bit, then we're going to do another alternative. So we're going to go to the back wall now and do this holding onto the back wall. So you can hold on to the kitchen counter or hold on to the back of a chair, anything you like. So come to the back. We're going to go to the back wall. We're going to hold onto our bar and then find that muscle. But what we can do now, because we're holding onto the bar, is we can angle out a little bit more and really push out to that side and just lengthen through that leg area. And then release it. And then we're going to do that on the other side. So we'll just do the other side as well. So just massage, find that muscle, massage it through. And I'm just going to come back to the main camera now as Fee's doing that. So massaging through that part, feeling where it's tight and trying to just release it. And then you're going to take your leg behind and then pull that muscle up and stick your bottom out to the side. So you can either do it like I'm doing it now, or you can go to your kitchen counter or to holding onto a chair or something that doesn't move, because you want to hang on it a little bit so you can lean out a little bit more and just pull up that area and just stretch down the side of your leg. Now the other really important stretch to do is a front thigh stretch. And we'll try this standing without support, but again, it's probably better to do it if you've got that chair or something to hold on to. So we're going to very carefully take a hold of the right foot. When you do this, cross your knee in to pick up and hold your foot. That's important because you don't want to just unbalance your hips by taking the foot out to the side. So cross your knee over and then come up, and you're going to push your kneecap down to the floor. Now, as you're doing that, lift up through your core muscles. So lift up through your pelvic floor and into your belly. Fee successfully standing without losing her balance, and I'm the one that's falling over, the non-pregnant person. So Fee's doing really well. But what I want you to try and do is try and move your foot a little bit and change the angle of your thigh stretch. So we're going to go to the back wall again and going to take a hold of the foot and then push the kneecap down into the floor and just move your foot around. Now this is important. You're not twisting your knee. Your knee is moving, and you're rotating in your hip joint. And find a bit of tightness with your foot slightly in and push your kneecap away. Lift up through your core muscles as well. That's really important that you're lifting through your core as you do this. So I'm looking for Fee pushing her kneecap down into the floor and then pushing her hips forward. As her heel comes into a bottom, she's then pushing her hips away. And this is important because we want to open out the top of the hip here. We don't want this area to be tight, but also she's helping to release through her leg here that whole area where she feels there's a lot of tightness going on. So change the angle of your foot again, Fee, and find another position. And you can feel where it's tight. When you change the angle, you feel that point of tightness, hold at that point, push the kneecap away, but lift in through your core and breathe. So inhale, exhale, push the kneecap away and lengthen through. And then you're going to change legs. So Fee's going to do the other leg now, and I want you to do the same. We'll come back to the front now. And this is important, particularly if you're getting pain over your knees, yeah? And it might be that this stretch that Fee's doing at the moment really works for you. It might be that this stretch really works for you. There are other stretches as well that we do, and what I suggest you do is you go to the masterclasses and look at all the stretches for hips. There's a variety of them because everybody is slightly different, but I'll guarantee you there is a stretch or a lengthening or an opening masterclass that will help any issues that you've got to do with tightness in your knees, tightness with your thighs, muscles going over into your kneecaps. Okay, so we've warmed up. We're going to do some more rocking the babies before we go into our circuit, which is what we're going to do. Now, we're talking about swimming. So this circuit is going to help with swimming, but we've also got some other quite sporty moves that we're going to do in this circuit. And we're going to do it so that we can adapt it to suit you in your pregnancy. So if you are a sports person and you do some team sports, then this is going to be great for you. If you've never done any sports before, then it's still going to be great for you because they're really nice movements to do, and they mimic everyday movements that we do, whether that's to pick up a child, pick up some shopping, put something in the boot of your car. These are actions that we do every single day. So we're going to start off with a lunging action. So we're going to come to the back wall. We're going to grab our bands. And we're going to go into a lunge position. So take a hold of your handles of your band, step back, so you need to make sure that your bands are attached to something that isn't going to move, and take the right leg back behind, so right leg back, left leg in front. So we're going to start off by going up. So remember how we practice with our lunges, work the shoulders down, and then you're going to pull the band as you lower down into your lunge, and then lift back up and squeeze into your buttocks, and then lower down, and then lift back up. Now, as you continue to move through this action, your body will start to warm up even more. And it may be that your knee is still twinging a little bit. If that's happening, don't go so low in your lunge. Just remember how we did it to begin with. You can just go down a teeny tiny way, and then lift back up, and then gradually get a little bit deeper with your lunges. With every movement you make, you breathe. You can breathe naturally. You don't have to purposely breathe. Just make sure you are breathing throughout and you are connecting to your core. Signal your core muscles to work at the top, squeeze your bottom, lift up through your pelvic floor, and then lower and lift. How are we doing, Fee? You all right? Yeah? Cool. So Fee's doing well there. So I'm going to ask Fee to do another 2 lunges, and then we're going to change sides. Lovely. And one more. So lift up through your pelvic floor into your belly, and then lower down and lift. Perfect. And then we're going to change sides. So we're going to go to the other side now. So left leg goes back behind this time. Right leg in front. Lift up nice and tall to begin with. Work the shoulder blades back and down. Squeeze into your buttocks, and then lower down and lift back up and squeeze into your bottom. Find the core, lower down, and then lift back up and squeeze. Lift up through your pelvic floor, lower down. Lift up, squeeze that buttock, lift up through your pelvic floor. And as I'm saying lift up through the pelvic floor, you should feel a lifting in through your belly at the same time. Now we're going quite quickly, so let's slow ourselves down and just give it a little bit more time to connect, and then lower down. Now, you need to go at a pace that works for you. So I'm going to not dictate to Fee what pace she goes at now. Don't worry if you are lunging at a different rate to us. That doesn't matter. Stop when you feel fatigue. You can always go into your rocking the babies. You could do some stretches if we're still going. Listen to your own body and go at your own pace. Fee, if you can do 2 more, is that okay? Yeah? And then we're going to go into our next move. Now this move is brand new. So I'm going to talk to the front camera now. So guys, if you have 2 bands of different resistance, I want you to put the lightest resistance into your right hand and the heavier resistance into your left hand, yeah? So this movement is a stepping back movement. Now, generally we step forwards, but the time that you can hurt yourself is often when you have to catch your balance when you're stepping backwards. So we're going to practice that and think about working our core in a backward stepping motion. And we're going to add in rotation as well. So it's quite difficult this. So we're going to do it really slowly. So what we're going to do is start with the right leg forward and bring your right hand across in front of your body. Okay, now lift in through your core muscles at this point. We're then going to step all the way backwards to the side and drop into a squat. Yeah? And then come forwards, bring the right arm forwards, and then step back and drop down into a squat. Now let's do this even slower. So step forwards, bring your right arm across, so we're nice and straight with the body, lift in through your core muscles and step back and drop down. How's that knee doing, Fee? Yeah? Okay, and then release. Breathe in, and then exhale, lift through your core, and breathe out. And then step forward, breathe in, and exhale, lift through your core, and step back. Good. Okay, and let's do that again. And then again, inhale, exhale, step back. How are you all doing? It's quite tricky, this one, isn't it? And then again, inhale and exhale, step back. And hopefully you can see us at different angles and you can get this movement right. So essentially, you're bringing your right arm across and then you're pulling it back behind you. You're pulling with your left arm through as well. And just thinking about resistance through the whole of your body. And then again, step back. And then release. How's that knee doing? Yeah, sure? Fee's saying it's okay. I'm worried when she says it's just okay. So you can feel it a little bit. So we're going to keep going. As long as it's not exacerbating anything, it's just a little bit of tightness, then we should be okay. We'll do one more movement. But what we can do is we can stop and stretch it, if we need to, and then release. Well done, Fee. So now we're going to drop one of our bands. We're going to stick with our stronger band. And we're going to go into another lunge position, right leg in front, left leg behind. And I think what I might do is give Fee the opportunity to stop during this and just stretch her leg again if she needs to. So come up nice and tall, squeeze into your right buttock, lift up through your center, think about your postural position. So this is our pushing action in a lunge position. So rather than pulling, you're pushing the arm. But what's really important as you do this is not to push the whole body forward. So as we drop down, the body stays vertical, and then you lift back up and squeeze into your buttocks. And then again, lower down. And then lift back up and squeeze. And then again, lower down. And then lift back up and squeeze. You okay? Yeah, lower down. And then lift back up and squeeze. And I'm just watching Fee's technique from the side here. And I'm really looking to see that her glutes are activating and she's lifting her core before she lowers down. So make sure you're doing the same. So inhale, exhale, lift through your center, lift through your pelvic floor, and then lower down. And again, do that again. Now, I'm not counting how many reps you're doing at home. I'm not counting how many reps Fee's doing here, because I want you to really listen to your body and stop when you've had enough. We're all going to go at different paces, and we're all going to do different numbers of reps depending on how our body is feeling. So I want you to feel challenged, but I don't want you to overdo it. Well done. So let's go to the other side and do the other side. Do you want a breather? You okay? Yeah? So Fee's okay, so I hope you're at home. So just remember, if you want to stop, do some stretches, do some rocking the babies, and that's absolutely fine. Lower down, and then lift back up and squeeze. And again, you're going to lower down, and it always feels different from one side to the other. And it's often that it is weird when you start doing something that's symmetrical. When your body is not symmetrical, it always feels weird. So we always have a dominant side. So often it feels easier on that dominant side because we're used to moving that side a little bit more. So you have to really concentrate. And then lift up through, squeeze into your buttocks, lower down, and then lift back up through. And let's go for 4 more here, but Fee can stop. You can stop before then if you want to. Okay? And then 3. And you want to get that point of fatigue in the legs and in your left arm through your chest wall. And I've lost count again. 1 more, I think. That's it. And that's it. And then release. Okay, we're going to loosen this band. We're going to grab our wide bands now. And if you've got one of these at home, great. If not, you can take one of your bands off of your attachment site and use that instead. Just need something which pulls a little bit. And you're not really pulling it. It's just keeping it tight. Yeah, it's just tautness in the band, because that's going to help to connect to your core. So this is our tightrope walk movement. Crossing your right foot in front of your left. Take a nice big deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. As you exhale, lift the arms up. And I'm just going to go halfway. You can go all the way back behind your head if you want to. Inhale. And then exhale and lower the arms down. So inhale. Now make sure you're squeezing the buttock on your back left. You're lifting through your core muscles as your arms go up. And I'm going to go all the way back behind my head this time. And if you can do that, that's fine. But you've got to control your core. Take another breath. Inhale, exhale. Lift up through your center and bring the arm back. So don't follow me. Listen to your own body. Inhale, exhale, lift up through your pelvic floor into your belly and go up and over as far as you want to go. Inhale, exhale, and lower back down. Take another breath. Inhale. Last one, exhale, lift up. And then inhale, exhale, and then lower back down. We're going to change sides. Do that on the other side. So left foot in front, squeeze the right buttock. So you're bringing your hips in forward as you do this, and then you're going to take a breath. Inhale, exhale, lift up through your core, bring the arms up. I might go all the way over this time. Keep that band nice and tall. Inhale, exhale, take it back. And you're trying to keep your head in line in the right same position. Inhale, exhale, take the arms up. So if you're finding you're doing this as you're going up, you want to try and keep your head, don't go up so far yet, keep your head in line. Inhale, exhale. Try and keep everything nice and straight. And then do that again, just lift up through. And I'm also just going to quickly show you another alternative. Fee does another one of that. And if you are struggling to do anything standing at the moment, you can do all of these actions sat on a ball. Yeah, it's absolutely fine. And in fact, it's brilliant to do that because you can activate your core, you can stay nice and strong, but you can do it in a seated position. So it's a really good way to do every single one of these band moves. You could do them all seated if you wanted to. Okay, so now we're going to go to our side-to-side movement on the other side. So we're going to do that now. So we're going to grab our bands. And this time, so we want to put the lighter band into our left hand and the harder band into our right hand. So we're going to start with the left hand crossing over the right, and then we're going to step all the way back behind. So it's a big old movement this, so we activate the core and then step back. I know it's really, again, awkward doing it on the opposite side. That's it. So step back, that's it, you got it, Fee. Well done, yes. And then release, cross over, and then step back. Now, if you find any of these movements cause you any discomfort or pain, you stop and you adjust. And it might be that you just skip this move out. And while we're doing this, you could be doing some rocking the babies, you could be doing some stretches. But if you are able to do it, hey, go for it. There's absolutely no reason why we can't in pregnancy do lovely big movements as long as we are thinking about our core, lifting up through our center, thinking about our posture, not going too low if we've got any twinges in our knees, or if we're not, we can drop all the way down, make it a bigger movement. I feel like I'm on a surfboard when I do that. Very sport specific, this. Okay, so it's up to you. You do what feels good to you. Breathe it through. Inhale, exhale, step back. So you inhale as you come in. As you exhale, lift up through your center and step back. That ball has come to life. It's moving all over the place. And then come down. And we're going to go for 2 more of these movements. So step back. And then 1 more move. Step back. And then hold it there. Well done. Now, if you found that move a little bit confusing, it's always hard the first time you do it, but keep coming back to it because actually when you get into it, it's a really lovely move to do and you'll feel your heart rate going up. So now we're going to do Fee specific swimming action now. So going to take a hold of this band we've got here, which is a slightly lighter resistance. And this is important. So we're going to pull back, so that's why we need a lighter resistance. You can use the other bands that you've got, just unwind them so you've got a handle in each hand, and just go closer to your attachment site rather than pulling the band all the way back. So what we're going to do is go into a slight forward lean, and we're going to mimic Fee's front crawl. The point at which you've got resistance through the water we're going to mimic, because this is where your core and your posture are really important when you're swimming. When you're getting that resistance point where you're pushing through the water, you want to really engage your core and you want to really think about your posture, which is bringing the shoulders down, keeping the chin in. So we're going to do that action with the right arm pulling back, and then with the left pulling back. So we're in a squat position, lifting through the core muscles, breathing, exhaling. Inhale, exhale, and pull back. Now keep your shoulder blades back and down. If you were struggling to find your core muscles as you're doing this, you could do it with blocks between your knees, yeah? And then I'm going to just look at Fee's posture here, because she's got these lovely swimming shoulders, lovely broad shoulders. But what we need to make sure of when she's doing this is she's keeping those shoulder blades back and down. And the other thing, which you wouldn't have the same issue in the water, but at the moment she's bending her wrists. And because in pregnancy, that can cause issues if you've got any swelling going on through the carpal nerve there. You don't want to shorten that. You want to keep that nice and straight in your wrist. So make sure when you're pulling resistance, it's quite hard to do, so you've got to keep those wrists straight. That's it. Yes, well done. You got it. So many things to think about. It's hard. Now bring your chin in, lift up through your core as you pull the arm down. Good. And then lift up through your core and then lift up through your core. And the only other thing for you is I want you in a slightly more tilted position. So just come forward a little bit more. That's it. Draw the shoulders down. Okay, so I hope you're following at home. You just want that slight forward lean. So you've got that slightly more prone position to the body, which is, again, a bit more like your swimming action. Okay, go for 2 more. 1 more. And then you're there. Well done. Brilliant. Okay, so we've done the circuit through once. We're going to do it through twice. If you want to stop at that point, you can. You could forward on the video if you needed to, but we're going to do it a second time, but we're going to do it quite quickly. We're just going to do around 6 to 8 movements on each one. So we're going to start off with our lunge position, taking a hold of the band. Now remember, any point if you want to stretch through, you can. So we're going to step back with the right leg. So we'll do 8 reps on this one. So coming up nice and tall, squeeze into the buttocks, lifting through your center. You're going to drop down and then lift back up and squeeze into your bottom. And again, drop down. So what I'm looking for now is for you all to gain consistency in what you're doing and to feel your heart rate going up. So this is going to be a cardiovascular movement as well as a strengthening circuit. So keep working on your shoulder blade positioning, keep lifting up through your center. And if we have a front view as well, it's always good to see whether the pelvis is rotating at all. We can see that feet's in a nice straight position. She's just going to turn her heel up for me just a teeny bit, that's it. And then lower down and lift, keep working those shoulder blades back and down. Is that 8 yet? I'm not counting, probably. We'll do one more. 6, okay, so do 1 more then. And then change sides. Everybody at home, change sides as well. So we're going to put the band into the other hand. And then again, left foot back behind. Whoops, I'm overbalancing. And then lower down and lift back up and squeeze. And again, lower down. Now breathe, inhale at the top. Exhale, lift in through your core. Exhale, lift up through your pelvic floor and into your belly. Now we're going to slow it down just a little bit and just really think about the core. So you can go at whatever pace works for you. Let's do 2 more and then 1 more. And then after this, we're going to go straight into our step back move. Okay, so we're going to put the heavier band into our left hand, lighter band into the right hand. And then I'm just going to, I've twisted my bands up. And then we're going to step back and drop down. And then lift back in, and then step back. We're just going to do 6 of these moves. Okay, so you don't have to go very low. You can just do a little tiny step. Or if you want to, you can go all the way down, but lift up through your core and into your belly. And again, inhale, exhale, lift up through your core and into your belly. And then 2 more, lift up through your center. And then 1 more, lift up through your center. And then we're going to release, just holding on to our heavier band into our lunge position. Can I have breath? You okay? Lift up nice and tall, squeeze into your buttocks, work the shoulders down, and then lower down. Now, how's that knee feeling? Opposite. Change your legs. Set. Yeah, you got it? Perfect. Yeah, knees feeling okay? Yeah, brilliant. So arm back behind. That's it. And then drive it through. Yay! We got it. You got it at home. And then lower down and lift back up and squeeze. And again, lower down, lift back up and squeeze. Let's just go for 2 more. And then 1 more. Breathe. And then change legs, change arms. So you just want to make sure that band is directly behind the arm that's pushing. Always have the leg that's behind is on the same side of the band that you're pushing with. So come up nice and tall, squeeze into that buttock at the top. Take a breath. As you exhale, engage your pelvic floor, stop a fart, stop a wee, and then press. Remember, when I say engage your pelvic floor, it is that stop a fart, stop a wee feeling, and you should feel your belly coming in at the same time. And then lift back up, and then let's just go for 3 more. And then 2 more. And then 1 more, lower down and lift, and then come back up. Now with our tightrope one, we're just going to do 2 actions on each side. Careful as you pick your band up, particularly if it's coming from the floor. And then right foot in front, left leg behind, 2 on this side, 2 on the other. Take a breath from your inhale. Exhale, lift the arms up. And then take another breath, inhale. Engage your core, squeeze the buttock on the back leg. How are we doing? All right? Yeah, one more. And then inhale, exhale. And then change sides. Other side. Again, take a breath for me. Inhale, exhale. Engage your core. Squeeze through your buttock on the back leg. And then inhale, exhale. Come back. So you're basically doing one more. You're getting that right buttock to squeeze, and then you're trying to feel your pelvic floor inside of that buttock feeling. It's a much deeper feel. Inhale, exhale, bring the arm back. And then you're there. 2 more moves to go. We're going to do our step back on the other side. So you need to put the heavier band in your left hand, the lighter band in your, no, other way around. Heavier band in your right hand, lighter band in your left hand. Get that right? You right, Fee? Yeah? So start with your left foot forward, and you're going to cross your left hand over the top of your right hand handle band. Just going to move my other band off the way. And then we're going to step back. So step back and down. Yes, she's got it. And we are turning, so you need to be conscious of what's happening to your knees. And this is why you have to go slowly. And the fact that Fee's knees do give her a little bit of problem, a little bit of an issue, we do need to make sure that as you turn, you're being really conscious of what's going on in your knees, yeah? So your foot that you're turning on, you've kind of got the heel into the ground, but you're allowing your foot to move freely. So don't dig your foot into the floor. Your heel is in the floor, but you're allowing your foot to shift. And that's really important. It's one of the reasons why I like to do this barefoot, because you've got a lot more control over that foot action. You're not restricted by your shoes. And you're working your feet as you do this as well, which is good as well. And then lift up. How are we doing, Fee? You all right? Okay, and then let's go for 2 more. So it's a big movement, so it's going to take your heart rate up, so you need to be careful. So if you need to lessen your movement, don't go so low. Take your steps a little bit smaller. If you want to go for it, go for it. Step back, bigger, drop down. Let's do 1 more, and then step back. Perfect. Okay, and then release, and we're going to do our last move, which is our swimming action. So we're going to take a hold of the bands. Now you want that slight forward lean, so the butt's going to go back behind. You're going to engage your core, and that's really important because when you're swimming, you want to be feeling your core muscles, and it's that point where you drive the arm back through the water that you want to feel your core. Okay, so drive the right arm back, and then release it, and then the left, and then the right. Breathe. Now inhale, exhale as you pull. Exhale as you pull, lift up through your pelvic floor. And remember, if you're struggling to feel your core, you get a cushion or rolled up towel, put it between your knees, and pull, lift up through your center. Inhale, exhale, draw down. And we're just going to go for 4 more of these. So that's 4 from here. So 4, 3, 2, shoulder blades drawn back and down, and you're there. Well done. Yay! We've done our circuit. Fantastic. Okay, so Fee, grab a block. We're going to stretch it out. Now let's just do a few rocking the babies because we need to calm down a little bit after that. How you doing? You all right? Yeah? Cool. I hope you're okay at home as well. So we're just going to finish off with some stretches now. And we've been thinking about tightening the pelvic floor, lifting it up quite a lot. So we want to kind of let it go and relax now. The reason it's so important for you to be thinking of lifting your pelvic floor is that you've got this constant pressure pushing down on your pelvic floor. So that's why I do over-egg it a little bit in terms of connecting to the pelvic floor. But I also want you to be conscious of the fact that your pelvic floor needs to lift and it also needs to lower. As you get further on into your pregnancy, I'll be talking about that lowering a lot more, and we'll be getting the pelvic floor to relax and open a lot more. But for now, we really want to train it and really strengthen it and get it really, really strong. But when we come down to the floor, which is what we're going to do now, we'll do some stretches for the legs first. I do want you to, at the end of every workout, relax your pelvic floor, let your pelvic floor go. Yep, so we'll start off on one knee. We're going to lift up and use the hands, so pull the skin up over the right hip and literally push your fingers into your skin and pull the skin up over your hip. And now squeeze your right buttock and again connect your core. So lift up through your pelvic floor and into your belly and feel a stretch over the front of that thigh. You're then going to come forwards and let it go and just drop down and feel that lengthening, yeah? And I suspect, Fee, that on that right side it's tighter than on the left. Yeah. So Fee needs to keep on working on getting this length in her right side. So it's not just when she's exercising. She needs to do that stretch that we did at the beginning where we were massaging into the hips. It's also really useful to use a ball to release those hips. And there'll be a masterclass on that coming really soon where we work using a ball to release tension in different parts of the body and just lifting in through your core muscles, working the shoulders down as you're doing this stretch. So Fee needs to work on that. We're going to do a stretch at the end, which is going to help with that as well. So let's just change sides. And again, pull up through the skin on that left side. So you're supporting. And if you feel any kind of tension or discomfort in your back, you could always put one hand at the front and one hand into the small of the back. So if you can see that from the side, you should be able to see how I'm supporting my back a little bit more now. And then lift up through the pelvic floor. And then we're just going to sink forward, but keep that tailbone pushed down and that front of the hip lifted as we lower back, and then engage your core again. So lift up through your pelvic floor and into your belly as you're doing this. So engaging your core muscles, releasing that tension. And then release and come back. So now we're going to start to release tension through the pelvic floor. So I want you to take your hands up in front and we're going to do that puppy dog action. So take the knees wide so you can stick your bum through your knees and then just lower your forehead to the floor and just stretch through your back. But your bottom is up, and very importantly, you're just letting that pelvic floor go. So inhale, exhale, and relax. And just breathe that through, allowing the pelvis to open. And do that for a couple more breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. Now, we haven't done any static work today to work the core. We've been very active, so you know that this session is a real active one. There are obviously lots of other videos where we're more static and you can concentrate. And remember those videos we did with Aditi where we just slowed everything down a little bit, worked a little bit more in positions where you can feel and find your pelvic floor and your core muscles a bit more. So remember to do those videos as well. But this one is great if you are sporty and you want to keep your movement going so that you can pick up your sport after your pregnancy, after that fourth trimester, that postnatal period where you still need to take it a little bit more easily, a little bit more considered, but then you can start to pick up your sport afterwards. And by doing these kind of movements, it helps you to maintain that kind of sportsness and sport activity. And obviously, there are lots of sport activities you can still do in pregnancy, such as swimming. So this is a great workout for anyone that's doing any of those. We're going to do one more stretch, actually two more stretches, Fee. We're going to bring the right knee forward and then take the leg out to the side and just, this is called a pigeon stretch in yoga, and it's a really nice one to do for your hips. What I like to do with this is move it. And the nice thing about moving it is that you can stretch the front of the left hip and then into the back of the right hip. So you can kind of move between stretching the right side in the back of the hip and the left side in the front of the hip, and it's quite a nice thing to do. And it's nice to keep your body moving in pregnancy and just recognize where your tightness is. So have a think about how it feels, Fee. If you feel discomfort in your knee, lift your body up, take pressure off the knee, and just do the movement with less downward pressure on the knee. And you can also put a block underneath the back knee as well. And we do this in the masterclass for this action. Or you can just hold it still. And if your bump allows, and you're happy to, you can actually relax down into the floor with this as well. It's all dependent on you and how it feels, but if it feels good, do it, because it's a wonderful stretch and a wonderful place to be. And then we're going to change legs and do that on the other side. Now, if you feel tightness in other parts of the body that we're not stretching out right now, I want you to stretch those in your own time. It might be your calf muscles, your lower leg muscles. It might be your hamstring, the back of your legs. So if you feel you need to do a stretch for those, then there's masterclasses for everything. So make sure you do those specific stretches. If you know your calves feel tight, look out for masterclasses on that so that you can be very independent in how you do your movement, because this is all about you, finding movements that work for you. But what we will do, let's just hold this one, is we will do one final stretch which does target the hamstrings and the calves. For any of you that are tight there, which a lot of us are. So while Fee's staying in that stretch, I'm just going to show you your last one, which is from a seated position. And if you want to, you can sit up on cushions or blocks if that's better for you. And then extend one leg out, flex the foot, and you can use a towel, anything. If you've got a band like this, a band underneath your foot, and just lift your foot up off the floor and stretch down the back of your leg and into your hamstrings, and bring your spine up nice and tall as you're doing this as well. So you can join me with this one now if you want to. So you're just stretching through the back of your leg. That's it. And then I'm going to change legs. I'm going to allow Fee to do both legs. So you can do the same. You can spend a little bit more time on this afterwards if you want to, but you're just flexing your foot around, lifting your spine up nice and tall, and getting a stretch down the back of your leg. So I hope you've enjoyed this workout. I hope you found some real benefit out of it. Remember, there's something different in every single workout. It's about you finding the ones that really work for you, and you can repeat those ones. You can do a mix-up of different workouts. It's really important for you to find exactly what's working for you, but I hope you've enjoyed this one, and we'll see you again very soon. Thank you. Hello, I hope you enjoyed the workout, and if you did, please do subscribe and like and comment below. Now, if you have an issue like Fiona did, she had a problem with her knee, and you'd like us to address it, then make sure you comment below. We will always comment back, and we will even make workouts specifically for you. So make sure you comment and come back and see us again soon.